Hi guys, welcome back to AFTV, and we've got another late show, another late night show. We've got Arthur in the comments already going in on Turkish. Good work, and Hasib as well. Good stuff. Listen, Turkish is going to join us soon, so don't you worry. We'll hear him say the magic words. Guys, this is a Have Your Say show where you can come in and let us know your thoughts around the game. Tomorrow, a massive game. We saw Chelsea do the job. Let me know in the comments what you made of Chelsea's performance. We've got Cecil in the comments. Don't know why Cecil enjoyed. Cecil, come join if you fancy, and let's get the overlay up. There we go. Look at that. Everyone can have their say. We got Khan saying yes, James. Guys, this is going to be a very relaxed, chill, chatty show. And here he is. The man himself is in the building. Turkish, how you doing?
I'm good, James. You?
Yeah, very good. Let's get that sorted. Sorry, this is a bit of a free-for-all stream. I'm just sort of sorting things out as we go along.
There we go. Nice.
We're in business. A few people in the comments, mate. They're dropping a few how's it going people in the comments.
Yeah, it's catching on. It's getting out there. More videos, more how's it going?
I blame Cecil, mate.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I'm going to get him back one day.
I'm trying to man like Cecil. Yeah, you'll get him back. I can't believe that the one time you did get him, you were too good a person to let it go through, and they decided to edit it out. And here he is snaking you at his first opportunity.
Yeah, I know. I guess he thought the character I am. Yeah, he thought, he can handle it. Well, yeah, I can handle it. Let's hope he can handle what I plan in revenge.
I love it. Right. So a lot to talk about, but while I hate to admit it, we should talk about this. They were good.
Yeah, I don't want them to get another one. No. I'll be honest with you. I don't want them to get another one.
No. It would hurt because I kind of think the main weapons in football debate are we got the Champions League, we've got the Invincibles Golden Trophy.
Yeah.
And then there's always big debate about which you'd rather have, right? There's always big debate about that.
There is.
But if you've got two Champions Leagues,
yeah,
I think that trumps one golden. Yeah, there's a few Chelsea fans. Look, enjoy your night. Fair enough, I got to say. I can't, but let's try and talk about it as impartially as we can.
Look at them. What was it? 2 years ago, we played them in the Europa League final.
Yeah.
2 years on, we're maybe on the verge of the Europa League final, but they're in the Champions League final.
Isn't it amazing what 200 million can do?
Yeah.
Look, I joke because we've spent not far off that.
Yeah.
Reality.
We have.
And since then they've lost Hazard, but we've kept our supposed best players. And they've, they're in a Champions League final now, 2 years on, and you've got to say, there's so many of them. My God, fair enough. They're enjoying themselves. I've got to say, I'm just jealous. Yeah, I envy them a lot, but they, Tuchel's done an amazing job. I think the thing I respect, and I'm talking without my Arsenal hat on, the thing I respect about them is Tuchel's come in, he's thought, well, I assume this is what it looks like from the outside. He's gone, I've got all this attacking talent. I've got Werner who's got bags of pace. So we'll score goals in a game, 1 or 2 or whatever. Let's tighten up the back and just make ourselves hard to beat. And in fairness, Chelsea are pretty boring to watch. Apart from tonight, I thought they were good. They're not great to watch, but they get results because they're very efficient. He's got that kind of efficiency about him. Thomas Tuchel, that some of the best German sides were renowned for. Germany in 2014, Bayern Munich across those years as well. And yeah, he's doing a great job. But
you can build off.
Go on, Tesh.
You can build off that efficiency. That's what it is.
It's very true.
Obviously, it's a clean slate for him this summer in terms of who he wants to bring in and who he wants to let go. And yeah, we've got problems of our own anyway. I wouldn't say they've got problems, but yeah. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I agree. IA says tonight's result hurts me. If we were managed properly, I'm 100% sure we would have won the Champions League by now. Poor decisions from way back in 2003 been hampering us.
We would have had more opportunity to win it.
We'd have had much more. I agree with that.
Yeah, you can't say for sure you'd win it because, even if you look at Chelsea's one and only Champions League, I don't think that was the season they expected to win it. There were seasons gone by where they pumped in a lot of money, and their hope was that. PSG is another example at the moment of a team really trying to win that trophy. I think you're right, we'd have more chance, but you can't say we would have outright.
Yeah, agreed. Shadman393 says Arsenal and Chelsea both were playing Europa League final a couple of years back. Look at the two teams now, see which one have progressed. Yeah, fair enough. Hashtag Cronkite, hashtag Ek in. Let's move on to the game tomorrow, because obviously that's what we're here to talk about, where we are. And yeah, in 2 years, we haven't progressed. That's the reality. In fact, we've regressed. But a really good question here from Ritesh, which I'm going to bring up, it's a really good question, to be fair. Is Monroe going to cause us problems?
Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Bloody hope not.
Come out of nowhere if he does.
Yeah. Oh my word. I've got to say, tomorrow, and it's such a... Let's start on this topic, the topic of Arsenal. We spoke about this in the warm-up, and it's been thrown around in a lot of previews and stuff. I just think it's so relevant that it's worth touching on again. I am really not worried about what Villarreal will do to us tomorrow. I'm genuinely worried about what we do in this game. And that's the reality. I'm not going into this going, Chukwueze, Moreno, Parejo. Yeah, they're good players. Don't get me wrong. They're good players. Like, they can cause problems. But my mindset is that even if they score a goal or two, we should be good enough to score 3 or 4. Like, that's the reality. And I don't trust the side at the moment, is kind of where I'm standing with this.
Yeah, I get you. Well, it doesn't 3-2 puts them through, right, on away goals, so we don't want that. But yeah, I get your point. I get your point. Obviously, we should be able to go in and do a job like we did against Slavia Prague. I know Villarreal on a different level to Slavia Prague, but still, we have the attacking players to do damage. But our problem has been fluidity. Our problem has been confidence. Our problem has been inconsistency. So let's just hope off the back of that 2-0 win, a clean sheet, and a decent enough performance with some rotation in there, we can get the job done. Because I do want us to get to the final. That as much as I have posed the question about hypothetical question, that if we was to go out, Cronkite might, be more open to selling him, or he might, open up to the idea at the very least. That doesn't mean I want Arsenal to lose. I want Arsenal to win, and I want Arsenal to win it. But I know what could come off the back of that, and I know what we need to prepare for if that happens. It's damage limitations in that respect.
I'm desperate to win this game. I'm desperate to win this competition. Yeah. I'm one of these fans that, well, when we talk, we'll talk about the bigger picture, right? And rightly so, because we should. Because when you're away from the emotion of the game, you can speak with that clear head. But I'm the kind of guy who's got the scarves and shirts out and is kind of doing the whole shebang for like a Carling Cup semi-final. Like, I'm not, because I care, because it's trophies, it's competition, it's like it's the latter stages, it's the final 4, it's like, wow, this is within touching distance now. And my best memories as a Arsenal fan has been winning trophies, has been getting over the lines, that feeling, and the kind of future repercussions we'll deal with us after. I just want to win this. I just want to win this game. And guys, that's why we're doing this stream. We're here to chat about tomorrow's game. I think we'll go into some starting 11 elements. We'll chat about Arteta, Emery. We'll chat about what we got wrong in the first leg that we need to address. We're going to be here till about 11 p.m. UK time. So, guys, this is your chance to send in your comments, your questions, and we'll just chat about it. Just a free discussion, just a night before. Because I'm not going to lie, Turkish, the nerves are kicking in. This time a week ago, they weren't. It wasn't really till the game started that I started to get a bit nervous. But I'm getting nervous now.
Well, I guess because the Champions League's done now, it's over to tomorrow, So all there is between us and that game is time. And listen, time's flying at the moment. We're nearly halfway through the year. I don't know how months are going like weeks. It's mad. So listen, I feel something as well, James. I feel something as well, but I think I'm gonna wake up to the true feeling. And I did give you my prediction earlier and how I felt. I don't think we'll have enough, but tomorrow I'll offer a more emotional one, I guess, because that's when it really kicks in. You saw me last week. You was watching the game with me. Did I come across like a fan that didn't want to win that game?
Nah, trust me, I was fully sat there like, it's Turkish all right.
Yeah. So listen,
know.
we'll talk about Cronkite and that after the fact. Listen, if we win the Europa League, the same way like we won the FA Cup last season, we'll celebrate. We deserve it as a fan base, I mean. And the next day we have to just face reality and get back to the big fight that we're in.
Sudip says all English European finals potentially again like 2 years ago. Do you know my mind's been doing some crazy juggling to try and convince myself that the omens are in our favor this time? Like I'm going, well, a few years ago it was the semi-final, but we lost. Then we got past semi-final, but we lost in the final. Now this time we're going to go all the way. What the hell am I telling myself? I did everything to convince myself this can happen. Obviously,
you missed out the last 32 exit though.
It was yeah, it didn't happen. Pandemic here and all, it wasn't the same. I mean, yeah, we'll talk about this as well. The links to Sarri. Thanks, Yanis, for your comment. We'll definitely go into all that. So 2 potential all English finals potentially. And I'm happy to have this conversation now, even without knowing if we're in it or not, because either way, the English clubs have got to the semi-final stage. There's 2 in the final, but basically 3 because United are through. That leaves us. So you could be talking about 3 across 3 of the 4. It's been a good few years for English football, hasn't it? Really. I know last year, okay, we didn't quite do what we hoped, but it has been pretty impressive.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, English clubs over the years have got more money because of the commercial deals and they've got more power now. I think Perez's involvement in the European Super League and whatnot was to try and save Real Madrid from the situation. Because, Real Madrid were that team prior to the commercial deals coming to Premier League. They were the team that was breaking the transfer records and bringing in Tom, Dick and Harry on whatever wages they wanted to. Now it's English teams and, it's paying dividend in the European, well, 2 out of the last 3 years. It would be mad for all English finals across 2 different competitions. That pretty much says it all. But at the same time, yeah, actually, listen, the Premier League is what it is, the most competitive. In terms of quality, there's arguments to be had, but in terms of competition, there's no other league where you can't actually predict the top 4 anymore.
Yeah, agreed.
You actually cannot, which is mad.
You're spot on. I think you're spot on. And actually, I think that's pretty much confirmed now. Listen, I don't subscribe to the idea that the Premier League is I mean, I do think it's the best league in the world, but this idea that we're miles ahead of everyone else, every other league's a farmers league. It's all about the Premier League. I've never subscribed to that. I've always thought there's this kind of arrogance around English football about whether we had the best product. So, well, why do you think we have the best product? Do you watch any of the other leagues? Germany have got some very decent sides. You can name 5, 6 pretty decent sides in that league. Yeah. But you know what it is? When you see basically from so this is 2021 and 2019 I'm doing some quick mental maths. Of the 8 finalists, at least 7 of them will be English, right? If you take those sets of finals. And to do that, for those clubs to do that whilst competing in a league in which everyone takes points off everyone, it's so difficult to win Premier League games. I do think it kind of confirms this idea that the Premier League is the best league, especially in that, especially what you said, how competitive it is. The fact that a team could get relegated. I think Stoke got relegated with Champions League winners in their team.
Yeah.
Jean Shaqiri, Mark Muniesa, they were Champions League winners. Hesse, I think, was with Real Madrid. And that's just kind of the reality of the league. So fair play to, to the English clubs, fair play to the Premier League. It's been a pretty grueling season for everyone. So to have 3 teams in the finals is pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, let's just see if we're going to complete the set.
Yeah, let's hope. I hope. I'm starting to get nervous. Look, we've got loads to chat about, but let's go back to that super chat that was brought up. Links to Yeah, links to Maurizio Sarri. What do you make of that?
Listen, I can't really think of anything more than getting the owner out, because another manager gets more time essentially, and that more time is going to give the owner more time. Do I like Sarri? I actually do. I think he was hard done by at Chelsea. I think there was a
Yeah, I
bit.
think so too.
Yeah, I think there was a bit harsh on him, and he actually went out finishing third and the and the Europa League. So
Exactly.
he didn't do
Exactly.
too badly. So the link, it's in definitely a positive direction in terms of who we was linked to and got before with no experience, because you'd want someone with experience next if there's going to be someone next. And Sarri is someone that fits the bill in that sense. But I think football ideology wise, I think personally that's not the way I'd like to go. But so be it. He has won things. He has produced.
Yeah, it's a massive game for Mikel Arteta, and I think my kind of stance on this whole managerial thing is we talked about in the warm up. This out on AFTV, everyone can have a look. My kind of stance is I think if I'm convinced that the person you guys want to replace him with is the right man, for example, if we were getting, I know we wouldn't get Poch, but a Poch, a manager of that, a Nagelsmann is a better example, a Ten Hag, I'd be saying, yeah, all right, because I've seen them do it at the highest
Yeah.
level of European football. I've seen them take, I wouldn't call them average squads, but not the best, that has all the money splashed on them squads, to Champions League quarters and semi-finals. And, and that's the kind of manager that I would want leading us. But until I feel like that kind of manager's on the table, I don't really think I'm ready to sort of hit the eject button. So that's kind of where I stand with it. But tomorrow is huge for him.
Yeah.
How do you think he's going to approach this? Do you think? Let us know in the comments, guys. How's he going? Do we think we'll see Arteta release the shackles, as he has done sometimes when his neck's been on the line, right? When it's been really, do or die. Actually, he's surprised me and actually gone for it a bit more. Do you think he'll do a similar thing?
I don't know. He surprised us last Thursday, and this one's even bigger than that one now because of that. Listen, I don't know. I've said before, whatever we pick and whatever he picks, there's no guarantee this team's going to perform. We've seen that, far too often to be naive enough to think that it's all on Arteta. But what he done last week was complete madness. So I'd like a bit more normality from him. I'd like something we've seen before. If Tierney's in contention, then there's no bigger game than this one. Because if we lose this one, then you might as well just tell Tierney to go on holiday early and relax, because there's nothing left this season. So I just want him to show he's gonna go out on his shield if we're gonna go out there. I don't want to go out there on a pragmatic, tactical approach. I want to go out there on the front foot. You picked a starting lineup with Odegaard and Partey as the pivot, and for me, that's positive. If I saw something like that, it might not work out for us, but at least I can understand that he's gone for it, because we have to go for it. So if he does something I understand, then fair enough. But regardless, going out in the semi-final to Villarreal, however he goes out, even if I understand it, he's going to be under immense pressure.
Yeah, because the point is that you can't unwrite what happened in the first leg, right? That still happened. He still picked a false 9, and that 11 still was pretty disgraceful on the day, bar Saka and Pepe doing what they could with nothing in front of them or really an overlap or support. It actually is mad when you look back at that first leg that Saka and Pepe were the hardest ones trying, but then you do think, what were they meant to do? There's no overlap for them. There was no striker to hit. So actually, in pure logical terms, the only way they could go was back, unless they were sort of going to drive the team forward. And luckily, a penalty is kind of what got us that. You do look back at that game and think we're lucky to go into this at 2-1, because that away goal rule. So I hate about the away goal rule, even though it's playing in our favour. A 2-1 defeat away almost seems like a good result, and it shouldn't. We lost. But because of that psychological edge of, well, we got to attack, and we can do that quite comfortably because we know we've got the away goal, so if Villarreal get one, it's not the worst thing because ultimately we know. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
the fact that you can
listen.
get an advantage having lost a game, but just because you scored, it never really sat right with me.
No, 100%. And it is a psychological thing. I mean, this game wouldn't be as big as it is if we didn't have as shit a season as we've had. But psychologically, that's what it is. It's because of what we've done this season that this one's so big, and potentially people will be outside capping the players tomorrow and whatnot, forgetting why this game is so big, because this club hasn't done its job this season and over the last decade, if we're honest, leading up to this season. It wasn't just one summer that done it. But you're right, it's all psychological in that sense, because at 2-0 with 10 men, you're thinking it's done. Leno just makes a great save to avoid it being 3-0, and we go and get a penalty, a lucky one. Finally one goes our way, and we're back in it. It does feel like a mini win in a sense. But if you don't go and do the job in the second leg, then it doesn't feel like a mini win anymore.
How's it got to this? Seriously, how's it got to this? And actually, let's, because we've done our fair share of this. Let's not go into in 2007, Stan Kroenke joined the club. Let's not go into all that. Purely this season, FA Cup winners, Willian on a free, Sabas on loan, all right, but plus Partey, plus Gabriel, backup keeper Runnison comes in. I'm looking at the squad, and don't get me wrong, I never looked at that squad and thought, yes, this is ready for top 4 challenge and to climb the table, because I felt that the lack of creativity was such a obvious hole in our team. Like, it was so obvious, but I never thought it'd get this bad.
Yeah.
How has it got to this, Turkish, this season? Where has it gone wrong?
It's a mentality and character issue.
Do you think it is?
More so than quality, yeah. Because in terms of players and skill sets and whatnot, we're not the 10th, 11th best team in the league. We're slightly higher up. I won't put us top 4. I won't put us top 6. But I'd say between 7th and 9th. But we've been 9th to 12th all season. So there's a bit of improvement to be made there. But the mentality and character is the biggest problem at this club. And the lack of leadership. That's such a big thing, James. Like, I think, especially in the modern day, I think having real leaders, it has become such a rarity amongst footballers now.
Yeah.
For me, it's who can you look at as a player aside from maybe a Kieran Tierney that you'd want to embody Arsenal Football Club? Like, I can say Tony Adams, I can say Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira. I can even say people, let's say like Martin Keown, like Loren, like Gilberto. But right now, we don't have even a player that we can look at and say, that's the type of player that embodies this club. Instead, we have jokers. And that's why Arsenal have become a joker of a club in terms of the big 6 over the years. So that's really where it's at, in my honest opinion. But it's going to take that's going to take a long time to fix.
It hurts to hear it, man.
Yeah, it does. It does. And that's it. And Arteta knows it, because when Arteta said we need a cultural overhaul at the club, what do you think he meant by cultural? He means, he doesn't mean he's going to bring in every nationality in the world. He means a winning culture. That's mentality. That's character. He means that type of culture. So even he highlighted that at one point throughout. And it's a big, big problem. That's why the overhaul needs to be quick. It can't be slow, because you've still got a base of players that have tainted the atmosphere still at the club, and other players come into that.
I want to press you on that, but let's just take this super chat from Oz saying, why are Edu and Arteta not being held accountable for sending away Maitland-Niles and Willock when we need them now? One can play both fullback positions, the other is better than Danny. Huge errors. Yeah, I get where you're coming from there. Although I think they did need the game time. Any thoughts on that, Turkish?
I get it. But if they was here and we was playing them, I'd be saying we shouldn't be playing Maitland-Niles and Willock in the Europa League semi-final. Do you get what I mean? So it might be better with them. I can't even say that. But we just can't keep on doing this. Let's be honest. They wasn't good enough either. They wasn't. Maybe I
hear
think
what you're saying.
Kolasinac is the biggest mistake we made because not having a backup left back is silly.
Listen, I thought that at the time, and I got a lot of heat for it. I was saying that I don't think Kolasinac deserved as, but look, he wasn't good enough. But people spoke about it like he was like a completely useless. He wasn't. He wasn't completely useless. I think he was a product of. I think part of the bad performances we saw was because the team around him wasn't great. I thought he was fine as a backup left back. He was fine, but no, we decided to move him on, and maybe that was more to do with personality and commitment than actually, you know, his ability or whatever. But I agree, we miss him now. We miss just a natural left back.
Yeah, exactly that.
Just a natural left back.
Yeah.
We've got a super chat here from Vishnu. I'll bring up in a sec. But I want to challenge you on what you were just saying there, Turkish, because you rightly repeated what Arteta said about the club needing a cultural overhaul, and I believe him when he says that. Not just because I know he's right, but I believe that he's not just saying what the fans want to hear, and that he actually genuinely believes that's the case. Sometimes I see him on the touchline, he doesn't look angry. He just looks like fed up, like, oh, again, they've done this. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, he wants to tear his hair out at times. If we all agree that he's got his kind of mindset right with that, and we've seen a lot of managers, I say a lot, Wenger and Emery, in the job not approach the job with this idea that there needs to be a cultural overhaul, that there needs to be a top to bottom change, then do you not think it's more of a risk to lose Arteta when we could just let him finish the job that at least we know he has the right intentions of doing? Whereas another guy might come in and go, no, this is all great, just give me 100 million on a couple players, and then you realize the same old problems appear.
I'm worried that he hasn't identified these problems that I've talked about, though. That's my worry with Arteta. And more so, I'm worried about the comments he made, you know, about Cronkite. But let's talk about the football for a second. Things like Xhaka and Bellerin, another chance this season. We needed a bit more ruthlessness. And I guess we can put it to COVID. I guess we can. Even though there was some interest in Bellerin, I think we could have got that deal over the line. I think we could have got Nketiah over the line. I think Maitland-Niles could have been sold last summer. These are the necessities that we should have done quickly. Instead, we let it come into this season and drag on. And in January, they're going on loan when we had offers in the summer for 15, 20 million for one of them. West Ham were interested in another one in January. We decided to keep him, and he's played maybe one game in total since we've kept him. Like, as much as Arteta said the right things, I haven't seen him do all the right things either.
Right. I hear you.
I'm worried because Willian, that's not the right thing. You know, Louise, I don't put to him, but I understand the needs. And you know what it is? I guess he identified we need older players, experienced players that have been around the block, that have won it all, highest level of Europe and whatnot. Yeah, I get that's probably his thinking with Willian, but it's the wrong type of experience. Like Louise was the wrong type of experience for me. You know, if you're going to bring in someone like that, you need someone that's just an out and out leader too, not someone that's been, you know, held culpable at times for some of the inconsistencies at the club, like Louise had at Chelsea.
Right. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I got to say that whether Arteta's the man to execute the right intentions, I don't know. But I do really believe he's got the right intentions. I do. I think he slips up with some things in press conferences where I think you've defended the Cronkies a bit too much there, or, you know, there's been moments where I think, what are you saying here? But I do ultimately think that he has the highest standards and that he has the absolute right intentions. Like, I believe that he genuinely has the ambition to turn Arsenal into Premier League and Champions League winners. But I also have those ambitions, but I'm not good enough to be Arsenal manager.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, that's kind of the point. So intention might be there. And when I say that, I just wonder whether I keep saying other managers. We've only ever had Emery and Wenger. I guess Lundberg for 4 games. There were times where I just wondered, like, whether the real, like, desire to win was there. Like, the real, like, burning desire to be the best was there. I just wonder with that, you know, and I keep going back to Emery, and I keep mentioning this, like, conceding 30 shots a game thing. Like, that happens in a game. The next game, you should almost like park the bus just to be like, that is not happening again, ever. You should like make 9 changes for the next game because it's so shocking. Do you get what I mean? And I wonder whether that like almost like ruthlessness was there. And I think I see a little bit more of that in Arteta and the way he's whatever happened with Ozil, he basically went, you're out the door, you're not playing, you're not in the squad. So I've seen moments of it, which is why I think he is kind of mentally in the right place, just whether he can get that. Did you get what I mean?
Yeah, the club, listen, the ambition of the club has long been up for debate under Wenger. That's why I tell people, let's not forget that we got fed up with top 4 under this owner because he didn't want to build on top 4. He was happy with it. So even if we win the Europa League, because I still see people in the chat saying Turkish doesn't want us to win it. I want us to win it. Just know that it could cause bigger problems that we need to be ready for. But at the end of the day, just getting back into Champions League, this owner has shown that we had that back 10 years of Champions League and he didn't care enough to do the little things necessary to put us over the edge, pull us over the line. He didn't care enough. Instead, it was always 1 step forward, 2 steps back, to the point where we are now 8th and 10th and so on. So the ambition's never been there. So Arteta's back is always against it. Any manager's back is against the wall at this club.
People, I've got a super chat I'll bring up soon because I want to talk about this one that Vishnu's brought up. Basically saying, Nero says, I wish we got Tuchel. Listen, Tuchel's proving to be a very savvy manager. And by the way, he'd proven that at Dortmund and PSG, but, he's proving that it wasn't a case of, just having some of the best players in a weaker league. He's doing it at Chelsea and he's in 2 finals, an FA Cup and a Champions League final, and he's probably going to get top 4. That's an unbelievable season. I mean, that's an unbelievable season.
Yeah.
But let's not pretend he'd have had the same toys to play with if he came to the Emirates, right? Because Havertz, Werner, Pulisic, Ziyech, they came on big money. Right, I just want to make that point. Like, it's not. I know Thiago Silva was a free, but we know his reputation, and he'll be on big wages. Rudiger as well. Like they came on big money. He wouldn't have had the same resources. I think he'd have us in a higher position. I think we might be in a top 4 race with him.
Yeah,
because he would have just found an efficient way to get the best out of what we have. But I don't think we'd be experiencing the kind of season Chelsea are having. Well, because we were never in the Champions League in the first place. But I think it's just important to mention that. I wanted to chat about this because we're in the office today.
Yeah.
Fun spending the day with you, Turkish. And you were watching Aubameyang's interview with the press conference.
Yeah.
Vishnu says, I saw Oba's interview. I disagree, Turkish. I think Oba, Tierney and Saka are the types of players who I think embody the club. Now, I think that's mainly down to opinion, what embodying the club means to you. I love that Aubameyang he's a smiley guy. He chats to fans. He chats to us. He's a very kind of man of the people kind of guy. Like I like that a lot. Does that necessarily mean he embodies a winning Arsenal mentality? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd say that's probably up for debate. Although he won us the FA Cup, so you got to factor that. What did you take from his interview though when you watched the press conference?
It was a nice interview. It was a good interview. It was an honest interview. Listen, it's about time we've had an interview from Oba before a match or after, and it's come at the biggest one so far this season. So it's definitely good to hear from him. But you also heard me at the end, James. I felt like I didn't just hear from a leader or a captain. That I watched the whole thing and I just felt, and like I said to you, James, at that time, that's not his fault. He isn't the leader or captain that a football club needs to, win things and compete at the highest level. That's not his fault that he is captain. It's circumstances that done that.
Yeah.
And it was a good interview. But like I said, at the end, I just felt like, nice guy, great player at times, bad season, but he's got credit in the bank. Never the leader we're going to need to really, push this club in the right direction. But he's got 2 years on his contract, At the end of the day, it's his last contract at the club. And I'm happy for him to see it out. It's just the vice captain we put in place for next season needs to be someone like Tierney, because I'm tired of seeing Holding one day and then actually Tierney gets injured a lot. So you might still see Holding or
Lacazette, Bellerin, Xhaka, they've all worn the armband. It's not it's a what's Cecil called it? Like a shampoo bottle. Just like you have it, here you go.
I want it done and dusted. I want a vice captain in place that's you can see is going to step up the ladder when Oba's moving on, and he becomes the captain of the side, and he becomes the captain essentially before Oba moves on, because I think Oba knows himself he's not that guy, in terms of being a leader, So I think we need to make the right decision, whether it's Tierney, whether it's
Yeah.
I don't know. Right. I don't know who's next, to be honest. But I don't know.
If I knew Mari was a starting centre back, I'd look at him seriously.
Yeah, if Partey had a better first season, I would have looked at him.
Yeah.
Maybe we sign a player that can potentially do that.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah. We'll carry on with that, but I just want to take this comment here from Dan Mags. I don't know how to feel about this.
You're right, mate. You're right, Dan. That's what I say to myself every day.
Turkish agrees. I'm sure Cecil agrees too. I don't know how to feel about that one. I'm just gonna take the first 3 words. Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
I'll take the last 3.
Anyway, appreciate the support on the stream. Anyway, few calls saying I'm deluded. I appreciate that, guys. Listen, as I said, I do this sometimes. I was reading the comments on the warm-up to see how people were feeling ahead of the game, and someone picked out my quote when I said I'm an Arsenal fan, not an Arsenal critic.
Yeah,
and I stand by that.
Yeah,
absolutely stand by that. Look, if I fall on the side of delusion because I'm ultimately hopeful for the club, as I said, I'm not here to evaluate with a stern face every single day the ongoings of Arsenal Football Club. I'm first and foremost here to support, and then if things go wrong, I'll have my say. But hey ho. Right, 10 minutes left. What should we chat about? Huh?
James, let me ask you. Yeah, do you think I come across as a fan or a critic? Honestly,
no, I've seen you. You're a fan.
Yeah, but I mean, before you seen me, obviously, we do a lot of work together now. From what you've seen of me online and interviews, would you still say fan, or did you?
No, I'll say fan. This is why I say fan, because you can see you care. So even if you're being critical and you're being, well, maybe if some people's opinion, if it's harsh or you're being negative, whatever, but you can see you care. What I mean by critic is that, I'm expected to stay here with a really straight face and go, yep, the manager's not good enough. Sack him, move him on. We'll bring someone else in and we'll start again. Hold on. I should be disappointed. I should be sad that it's not worked for this manager and that we would want to move him on. I should be sad that these players aren't good enough. I should be feeling emotional about these things. As I said, I'm a fan. I think the critic's able to remove all emotion. And you know what? There are people out there who are first and foremost critics. So I talk to them and they just say with the straightest, calmest face, they go, Arteta's not the one, is he? Yeah, he should go, shouldn't he? I'm like, yeah, I mean, if that's your opinion, cool, but doesn't that bother you? Should bother you.
Yeah.
That's just my stance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, I get you. I just wanted to ask that just to see, obviously, because I know you'll be honest. So, and quickly,
in the comment section, guys. Listen, I don't think you come across an Arsenal critic. I think you come across an Arsenal fan.
I'm glad to hear that. And I saw a comment from Real Ball Talk. There are a couple of my guys. So shout them out.
Put it up.
Nah, it's already gone, but I can see it here in front of me on the main YouTube page. It says, big up Turkish and James. Xhaka embodies the club, overvalued, arrogant, no accountability, and gets forgiven. Ruthlessness at the top level is a must. And that's actually a good comment, in my opinion, as well, because it is true. Players like that do embody the club. Xhaka, Bellerin, over the years, they've become, the face of the playing staff anyway. So yeah, big up Real Ball Talk for that one.
Yeah, appreciate that, and appreciate Chloe Louise as well saying, big up man like Turkish and James. Me and my boys watch AFTV, love the content. Thank you. Let us know your score predictions as well ahead of tomorrow in the comment section. We've had as well super chat from Crook, but there was no text, but thank you very much. L30 Robinson says, big up lads. Win, see the Europa League owners stay, lose tomorrow, but the new owners, what you taking? Respect for what you do. You've been asking this question, Turkish.
Yeah, and I think Mo put it in the best possible way to ask, and it is a hypothetical question. It's Europa League win or Kroenke out, and it's a hypothetical one because one doesn't equal, like, the outcome doesn't equal the other and whatnot. If you asked me honestly for definite one, it would be Kroenke out every single day of the week.
Yeah.
But it's not definite. Hence why you'll see me tomorrow, like you saw me last Thursday. Hopefully going mad in a more positive way, but mad and emotional nonetheless.
Justin says, big up, James. You look 12 years old. I appreciate that. I think I'll look good at 30 or 40, to be honest. So I appreciate that a lot. Let's go into some super chats. They're not popping up here, but I've got them I can read out. Pud says, I appreciate this convo. Ultimately, players, managers, staff come and go, but one thing is eternal. Come on, you Gunners. Oh, I like that. Thank you for the super chat. We've got another one here. IA again says, we need 4 goals. Oof. I think a lot of us agree that we might need a few more than just 1 or 2. They say I'd go with Leno in goal, Cedric, Chambers, Gabriel, Xhaka. Okay, Xhaka left back. Partey, Elneny, Saka on the right, Pepe on the left, Smith Rowe and Martinelli up front. Not miles from what you wanted, Turkey.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, it's definitely not miles. I think I put Tierney left back. I think I put Odegaard instead of Emil Smith Rowe. But yeah, that sounds pretty much like what I picked earlier.
Keelan asks, would you start Saka at left back for the game? I would personally, if Tierney's not fit. Otherwise, if Tierney's even 95% fit, I'd play him because he's too good. Right. How should we round this off, Turkish? I mean, final words ahead of tomorrow. The nerves have well and truly built up. Sal's just jumped in with a super chat quickly saying, how do you not play a striking against a manager whose team in recent history faced shots in double digits? Absolutely spot on. I can
you actually you said that today in terms of the last 3 games and 39 shots conceded. You said something along those lines.
39 shots conceded by an Emery side. Sorry, by Emery's Villarreal have conceded 39 shots in the last 3 La Liga games. All right, they've played Barcelona, but it was Getafe and someone else. That is shocking. Have a go. My mic's in the way. Come on, Arsenal. Have a go.
Yeah, we have to. We literally have to. That's the only way to show heart and passion and fight. To go out and have a go. Let's not go in tentatively, because I'd hate that. If the opening 10 and 20 minutes is like a chess game, I'd be very disappointed, James. I want to see us positive, pressing, front foot. Let's go for it.
Agreed. RJ hashtag Cronkite says, big up James and Turkish. You are definitely a fan. You have the emotion attached to the points you make, and only true fans will understand. Love that. Yeah. Nero again with a super chat says, I hate the narrative the players aren't good enough. Ober under Emery, Golden Boot, under Arteta, Port, it's the manager's job to get the best out of players. I think Nero makes a great point there, but what I'd say, just my rounding kind of thoughts on that topic before we kind of round up with, let's end on a high, because we want to send the boys on a high. I'm trying to send you on this like happiness shit, Turkish. This positive vibe. What I'd say, I don't think player quality. I think when people talk about player quality, they talk about talent too much. Now we know the players of this squad have talent. Like we know that. Like it's clear that they've got talent. We didn't spend the money on them for no reason. Being good enough is what you do in particular moments of games, what you do in the big games, how often you use your head. Can you perform for 38 games of the season? Let's use Pepe as an example. We spent £72 million on. Has he got the talent and the attributes? I'd say no question. I'd say there's few players in the league who have as much talent as Pepe in terms of ticking all the boxes and attributes, right? Good finisher, good dribbler, all that. Can he do it over 38 games of a Premier League season? I'm yet to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm meant to take from that because he can do it over 10 to 15, that he's definitely good enough. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's not just about the talent. It's about showing that you got longevity in your game, that you got consistency. Yeah. And that's where I think a lot of these players fall short. But the beauty, go on, Turkish.
I want to add to that because you make a good point, and I want to throw something out there and say, let me just have a quick think in my head. There's only 2 players that have had minimum one good season or more at this club. And when I say season, like you said, I'm talking about 38 games. And I think those are Oba and Leno, if I'm not mistaken. Those are the only two players in our 25-man squad that have had a whole good season under their belts at the bare minimum. Am I missing anyone?
I'd like to throw in Saka on the basis that we're pretty much at the end of this season, and I think he's been pretty phenomenal throughout.
Okay, yeah, but yeah,
last season he did well too. But yeah, I get your point.
Yeah, which is madness. Imagine only two players have proven themselves over 38 game season.
That's it.
It's crazy.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it, Turkish. So, David Luiz, is he good enough in a one-off game? Absolutely. Talented, puts his head in, gets stuck in, can be a bit of a leader. Can he also be a bit of a clown sometimes? Of course we know we can.
Yeah.
And this is what we mean when we say good enough. When I look at Mason Mount, he's not good enough sometimes. He's good all the time. Every time he plays. Mahrez is always brilliant. De Bruyne, and I want to talk about players that shouldn't be miles ahead of Arsenal level. Obviously, Mount and Mahrez are, but my point is, I'm not talking about De Bruyne, who is quite clearly at just another level. I'm talking players that, you know, Arsenal, if they weren't our rivals, could and should go and get. And I don't see that consistency, and that's where I feel we fall short. But we're going to run over slightly just to chat about tomorrow and where we can get it right. What's that text? Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, over. Yeah, that's fine.
Enrique says, if Arteta starts Gab tomorrow, he might keep his job. I guess he means Martinelli. Let's talk about the positives. Martinelli, I think, is one of them. I think Aubameyang being fit's one of them. The fact that Lacazette, Luiz, and Tierney are all in contention. And the fact that despite everything this season, I've still seen this team somehow win at Old Trafford, put 3 past Chelsea, win a North London derby, find late goals in the Europa League when I thought we were down and out. I've still seen them do certain things that have made me think, there's something in there, boys. Come on. There is talent there. Can we do it?
All right.
You're all
right.
Huh?
You know, they have done things this season that, you've looked at like that. I've looked at like, wow, yeah, well, they pulled that one out of the bag. But that's exactly what they need to do tomorrow. Pull another one out the bag. And if we get to that final, they're going to have to pull another one out of that bag, because going to another final and losing to another English team, I'm not entertaining that idea. So for me, I think the positives are that I just hope we go for it. I just hope we go for it. That's all we can do. Let's just go for it, you know?
Yeah, agreed. Any changes on your starting 11?
No. As long as I see an attacking lineup, positive lineup, as long as I see, you know, something I understand, let's just go for it, because there is no perfect lineup at Arsenal Football Club. Like I said, we've only got a couple of players that have had a good season. So how can we say this lineup is perfect?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, agreed. I want to end with this comment. It's my favorite of the night. Big up me. I'm some legend. Big up you. Big up you, mate. Fair enough. If you say so, who am I to disagree, eh? What do I know? Right, Turkish, thanks for joining me, man.
No worries, man. No worries. We'll do this before, well, I was going to say before every game, but before every big game we have left, and there might be one after this. So, yeah, we'll do this before the Europa League final, if we're there, people.
This time tomorrow, I just want to say that I'm a second-rate European competition finalist.
Yeah.
All I want.
Celebrate that for the night.
That's all I want. Everyone in the comment section, thank you so much for joining in, sending your questions, chatting. Been a bit of a free-for-all, but that's kind of what it is. This is a very, what's the word, sort of off-the-cuff show, just chatting about, you know,
because I like
what we think.
I like hearing people's thoughts and comments, whether it's against me, for me, against you, for you, you know, negative, positive, blind, pessimistic, all of that. I like hearing from everyone. Listen,
I've learned tonight that people like me and think I'm annoying at the same time. I mean, I'm doing something right. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for joining in. I really appreciate it. The nerves have kicked in. Undoubtedly, the nerves have kicked in for me. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting night's sleep. But I'll see you tomorrow, Turkish. Everyone will be back with the build-up with Cecil and I. and then all the coverage from the starting 11 to the watch along to the aftermath. Well, hopefully, we're talking about a win, and a good win, and a place in another Europa League final. Hopefully, one will finally go over the line. And yeah, let's do it, guys. Thanks for joining.
No worries. Come on.